Pompey Sound. Updates, the latest from Fratton Park, on the hour, every hour. Fueled by Piglet's Pantry. Click pigletspantry.co.uk to get your fill.
Portsmouth are eyeing Tottenham's promising winger Yang Min-hyuk as they look to bolster their attacking options. The South Korean youngster has caught Pompey's attention as a potential loan target following their recent signing of Florian Bianchini, who made an immediate impact by setting up Thomas Waddingham's winner against Pek Zwolle. Yang, 19, joined Spurs on a 6-year deal last July from Korean side Gangwon, arriving in January before being loaned to QPR. During his spell with the Championship side, he made 14 appearances, netting twice and providing 1 assist. The talented winger has been involved in Thomas Frank's pre-season plans at Spurs, most recently coming off the bench in Sunday's friendly against Newcastle in Seoul when James Maddison was stretchered off with a knee injury. His involvement in pre-season has temporarily put any potential loan move on hold. At QPR, Yang primarily operated on the right wing, though he did feature as a striker in one match against Bristol City. Portsmouth see him as an ideal wide option, especially following Paddy Lane's departure to Reading, Harvey Blair's injury setback, and Matt Ritchie being out of the picture. The South Korean international, who made his national team debut in March against Jordan, could still move before the season starts, though he may feature in Spurs' upcoming friendlies against Bayern Munich and PSG. Portsmouth have 4 loan slots remaining, and are keen to strengthen their squad ahead of their Championship campaign.
And yet we also hear that John Mazzino is saying that he doesn't expect the squad to be strengthened in time for our first Championship match, which is on Saturday. So the suggestion that we may strengthen the squad before the Championship campaign begins is probably a little bit wide of the mark. Certainly we're going to strengthen the squad before September the 1st, which is when the transfer window closes, and we've got 4 available slots, as we just heard, for loan players, and we like loan players. We do well with loan players, and loan players do well with us, and therefore clubs, I'm not going to say queuing up to have Pompey borrow their players, but it certainly is a good place to go. And if you're a London-based youngster, then coming down to Pompey isn't too big a schlep. You might even be able to live at home and commute it. I don't know how they do it, and it's none of our business, although it can affect the way they play because it can affect their state of mind. So those things are all worth bearing in mind. Also worth bearing in mind is the fact that the Asian market is a strong one for merch. And there's a great deal of interest in English football, particularly, of course, the Premier League, but also the other leagues in countries such as Korea, Vietnam, China, Thailand, etc. We know that Spurs have had a great deal of success with one player in particular from that neck of the woods. And the fact that this prospect, Yang, played in a friendly for Spurs in Seoul suggests that Spurs know how to play those cards right. And it wouldn't do us any harm either, since we've got so many Aussies for one thing, and a Hungarian, and is that about the size of it? No, we've got an Austrian as well, haven't we? Then further foreign interest only expands our appeal worldwide, which is what apparently the Eisners, I nearly call them the misers. I heard you giggle when I made that genuine mistake. Cynic that you are, good listener. The Eisners are well aware of the importance of the global audiences. That's why this whole television project, of course, is being mooted. And why, if we've got a Korean player on our side, and we're offering on a stream, and it can be picked up in Korea, and the audience for that stream is increased because we've got foreign players, then all to the well and good. But of course, the bottom line is he any good? Job for YouTube, I think. At Pompey Sound, we like to keep an eye on the upcoming opponents, and it's Oxford United, and this is their latest news.
Oxford United have beaten off interest from a number of sides to agree a loan deal with Tottenham Hotspur for forward Will Lancashire, according to journalist Jason Burt. Spurs have been looking at finding loan homes for top talents who would not be set for game time under Thomas Frank this season. A host of Championship clubs recently chased attacker Mikey Moore, but Tottenham decided to send him north of the border on loan to Rangers. Moore's fellow attacker Lancashire, though, is staying in England and is dropping into the Championship in the same way Ashley Phillips has, with the defender on loan at Stoke City. It is Gary Rowett's Oxford United who have won the race for Lancashire and sign him from Tottenham on a season-long loan deal. The capture will be a boost for the U's, who survived in the Championship last season under experienced tactician Rowett. Playing in the Championship is not new to Lancashire, who spent the second half of last season away from Spurs on loan at West Brom. He even featured in a win for the Baggies over Oxford United in the Championship in February. Lancashire will want to be playing regular first-team football at the Kassam, and it is unclear if Oxford United have given Tottenham any guarantees on that front. The U's are due to kick off their league campaign this coming weekend when John Massinio's Portsmouth pay them a visit, and Lancashire could be involved in the game if Oxford United can get the deal done and dusted quickly. Spurs added Lance Keir to their youth ranks, following a spell for the 20-year-old at Sheffield United, who he could also go up against in the approaching season.
Yeah, kind of worth remembering. He was with Arsenal and now is with Spurs. And just as we have a rivalry with that lot up the road, there's no love lost between Spurs and Arsenal. But if he comes on and makes it with Spurs, I'm sure the crowd will forgive him that slight hiccup of having started his career as an Arsenal babe. Should we fear him on day one of the coming season on Saturday? Shaughnessy and Paul will have him to look after by the looks of it. He's 20, he's 6'1", but he classes himself as a poacher rather than as a target man. He agreed to a scholarship contract whilst he was with Arsenal, with Sheffield United 4 years ago, so when he was 16. He was the top scorer in the division and he captained Sheffield United to the Under-18 Professional Development League, which suggests that he's got a good head on his shoulders, not just for heading the ball. Paul Heckingbottom described him as having a good gift to score goals. Sheffield United tried to offer him a contract. However, Premier League club Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur were wanting his services. So he came back to Spurs with some sort of a deal by which £1 million of a fee was guaranteed and further payments thought to be performance-related bonuses. But the whole thing never went through. He stayed with Spurs, signing a contract running until 2025, which is up soon, actually, interesting. He made his debut as a substitute for Spurs under-18s. They were 3-1 down to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he scored a couple quickly to even the match, level the scores. And everywhere he goes, he seems to be seen as somebody who knows where the back of the net is. So just saying, he's worth watching out for. And he makes his debut for Oxford against us, we presume, on Saturday. Is it Saturday afternoon, or are they? I'm pretty certain it's Saturday afternoon.
Former Pompey striker Kazini Yengi had a rough start at Aberdeen, drawing criticism from pundit Chris Sutton after a disappointing debut against Hearts on Monday night. The Australian forward, who left Fratton Park in May after 2 years with the club, struggled to make an impact in his first Scottish Premiership start. He hit the post after 17 minutes from a Milanovic cross, but it was his second-half miss that really raised eyebrows, skewing wide from just 6 yards out. Sutton, the ex-Celtic striker and Premier League winner, didn't hold back in his assessment. "That second chance, he's got to bury that," said Sutton. "He needs to go with his head there, no question. You simply can't miss from 6 yards out." It was a poor decision from Yengi, and he was subbed off shortly after. Yengi's night came to an early end when manager Jimmy Thielen pulled him after 62 minutes. While Sutton acknowledged it's too early to make definitive judgments, he emphasised that improvement is needed from the striker who struggled with injuries and failed to score for Pompey last season. The 26-year-old wasn't the only familiar face at Tynecastle. Former Pompey loanee Adil Auchich also made his Aberdeen debut, playing the full 90 minutes in their defeat. Yengi's departure from Pompey came after a mixed spell at Fratton Park. While he struggled in the Championship last season, making just 14 appearances without scoring, he had previously played a vital role in their League One title-winning campaign. Over his 2 years with the Blues, he netted 13 goals in 45 appearances before being released by John Massinio this summer.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Last time out, we carried a story about how well Christian Sadie has gone down at Wigan and how he has become a folk hero overnight, being described in various places on social media as the greatest player on earth, the greatest player ever to play for Wigan, somebody that they should insure for £100 million and so on and so on and so on. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got Kusini Yengi, who had so much potential when he arrived and had so much going for him and so much fan fervour for him. He seemed to have the lot and the world was at his feet. And then injury struck, maybe his confidence was shaken in his own athletic ability and he held himself back a little bit. Then he went to Australia again, he travelled again and came back at less than 100%. And all those things can add up to a player who's not going to be performing at the best of his ability for Pompey. But sometimes a change is as good as a rest. And sometimes in horse racing, they simply change stables for a racehorse that's gone off the boil. And the new stimulation of being with a new stable can be all it takes, all that's necessary to get the horse back into performing to the best of its ability. I don't know if it applies to footballers or to human beings at all in general, but it's an amazing, isn't it, the difference. It's amazing the difference between the effect of a move has had on Christian Sadie and the effect a move has had on Kusini Yengi. Sadie apparently played out of his skin in a way that we didn't see. As an attacking force, as an out-and-out number 9, the number 9 who is the first pick, not the number 9 who is a reserve pick, because on the occasions when Sadie started as number 9, it was when Colby Bishop was unavailable. Now he's starting as the designated number 9. A job that he thought was his when he came to Pompey, and he was converted to a marauding number 10. Of course, you know all that. Kusini Yengi came as a designated number 9. There was fireworks when he arrived, and then things quietened, and we hardly saw him during the last whole season actually of his tenure here. And now he can't get going again, which is a shame. And since it doesn't affect us because he's up in Scotland, we can do nothing more or less than hope for his sake that he gets his mojo back, because he strikes us all as being a good lad and a good asset to a football club. He just needs to play like it.